Awesome. So today we're met with Peter. Peter, you're an instructor with David Lynch Foundation, and you teach TM. And I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to where you are.
Okay, be happy to. Great to be doing this blog with you. I I I was in the Navy during the Vietnam era. I was stationed on an aircraft carrier for 4 years, the USS Intrepid, and we got deployed to Vietnam 3 times during the time I was in. That was from 65 to 69. And when I got out of the Navy, I probably had PTSD, although it wasn't called that then. It was back then. It was called "suck it up,"
Yeah.
and, and nobody really. I mean, I guess before that it was called like what was it called?
Shell
Shell
shock.
shocked, shell
Yeah.
shocked, and different names for it, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the ages, but I don't think they had a name for it during the Vietnam War. But anyway, I probably had PTSD, but it wasn't because I was in direct combat. I wasn't in fear of my life, getting shot at every day. But when I think about what made me so stressed, I think it was the confinement on living on a ship for 4 years. And I think I was pissed off because during that time, you only had to do one deployment to Vietnam, but they kept on deploying me 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
and I was those big ships off the coast of Vietnam. They weren't in too much danger of getting attacked because we had a lot of destroyers and other escort ships around us that would take care of anything. But I don't think Vietnam had the wherewithal to really make an attack on the U.S. Navy off their shore,
Mm-hmm.
But it was the confinement. It was like living in a small space and being out at sea for 6 weeks at a time and eating that food and just being confined for so long that I think that it just wore and wore and wore and being sent. We'd be deployed for 8 months and we'd go home for 2 or 3 months for the ship to get replenished and recharged and painted and all that. Then we'd go back again, and to be away from your family for that long at a time and your loved ones, that all adds up to PTSD. And since then, since I've been a TM teacher, I've taught lots of vets with PTSD, and most of them are much more extreme cases than I had. But I was definitely angry, disoriented, pissed off. I was having a hard time becoming a civilian again. I was I was self-medicating with alcohol and mostly grass and
A lot of us do that.
mescaline. Back then, I was afraid to take LSD. I thought I would think I could fly and jump out a window. I think I was that kind of personality. And I was self-medicating with sex also, just indiscriminate sex. And that was back in the 60s and 70s. And so
That was the big sex movement back then, right?
That was happening back then, yes. Yeah. And so as a result of all of that, I was divorced from my wife who had written to me every day while I was overseas. I screwed that up when I came back. And, I just hated life. I wasn't happy. And I used my GI Bill to go to college. I went to the San Francisco Art Institute to study filmmaking. And while I was in college, I met a few people who had learned Transcendental Meditation a couple of years before I met them. I really liked them. They were really happy. They were settled. They were smart. And I thought, wow, I really like these people. They do this really weird transcendental meditation thing, but I can forgive them for that because I really like them. And they stayed on my case. They were telling me as friends, you should learn this meditation. It'll help you. You are stressed, man. You are stressed. This will help you. And I said, I don't need that crap,
Yeah.
You can do it if you want to, but I don't need it. And after a couple of years of getting worse and not better, I was getting paranoid from smoking the grass now. Now I'm paranoid on top of everything else. So I said, all right, I'll try it. And I learned TM, and it really helped a lot. It really took away the stress a lot, quickly too. And I can tell you that now that I've been teaching Transcendental Meditation for 50 years, I have a broader picture of it. Now, when I teach vets, I'd say, I don't know, a quarter of them, 25% of them find immense relief right away, like I did. And it's like mind-blowing, like, wow, this is amazing. And the other 75%, it's a little more of a gradual thing. They maybe in the first couple of weeks, they start noticing, oh, wow, this is really helping me. And then maybe there's a small percentage, 10% or so, after they learn. It takes them maybe a month or 2 or 3 months of kind of hand holding and reminding them to do it and all that. And then they make a breakthrough. So I've seen it. I've seen all types of reactions to TM. We teach it the same way to everybody, but everybody's got a different level of stress and a different personality and a different life experience. So anyway, it hit me hard. It really gave me a lot of relief. And my mind went like, wow, this is what I've been looking for. This is why I'm self-medicating. This is what I want. And so I took the training to become a teacher within a year after learning, because I just wanted to pay it forward. I wanted to be able to give it to people.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like that's a really positive thing that impacts almost immediately for a lot of people. And how long would you say it took to get good at TM?
Oh, immediately. TM is really easy to learn, and it's really easy to do. You learn it in 4 one-hour classes. That's it. For 4 days in a row. And then you know it. You've got it.
And then I was going to ask, that's the next question. You do in-person training, and can you speak to why that's important?
The first 4 days, the first 4 classes are always done in person. And then any follow-up that comes after that, any tune-up or refreshers or whatever, that can be done remotely. But in person, because number one, it's different for everyone. Everyone has a different experience meditating. Everybody has a different questions come up. Everybody learns in a different way. So it takes a personal interaction. You can't, to do it. And it's different when you're in person with somebody than when you're seeing somebody in Zoom. You get a lot more body clues and a lot more bonding with the person if they're in person, This TM is a really personal thing, a very subtle thing. And so sometimes, when you're during the class, you'll be learning, maybe we meditated together, and the person will go, what about this? And I'll go, oh, this. I'll go, oh yeah, okay, I get it, And it's kind of a personal thing. You're just sitting in a room with somebody, and you're just kind of guiding them down this very easy. It's really easy to learn and easy to do, but it's subtle. And so it takes takes a trained teacher to teach you. So like if I were to teach you, you wouldn't be able to teach somebody else because you had your questions answered. But if you try to teach somebody else, they're going to have different experience and different questions that you don't know the answers to,
Exactly. Yeah, it makes sense. It'd be like trying to teach someone how to shoot on Zoom. And I can imagine you wouldn't be able to see that they're holding their breath or pulling the trigger, or things of that nature.
It's like that.
It definitely makes sense. So when you started doing TM, did it help with any sort of your substance abuse problems, or have you seen that impact veterans in a positive way that you may have impacted?
Oh yeah. One thing, I think this is in case of any kind of therapy, you have to wanna heal yourself. So if somebody learns TM, but they want to still keep drinking, TM's not going to stop them from drinking. But if you say, I'm trying to get clean, and I'm going to, meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, TM will help with that. It'll help a lot. It's the 11th step, the 12-step program. The 11th step is meditation and prayer. And so many people say, well, I got to what's meditation, and this is a really good meditation for that. It just gives your body such a deep level of rest that it just dissolves tension and stress and anger and everything. But it's not an overnight thing. So you asked me, how long does it take you to get good at TM? You learn right away, but what happens over time is that the benefits start accumulating every time you meditate. And we recommend twice a day. You give your body this deep rest, and it dissolves a little more tension, gets rid of a little more stress. Another spoonful, every time you meditate, another spoonful goes. Little by little by little, your backpack full of stress starts getting lighter and lighter, and you start feeling more yourself and less burdened. So over time, changes happen for the good. Over time, you don't get better at meditating though.
Right. No, I like the way you put that. Do you need PTSD to try TM or see benefits from TM?
Not at all.
Exactly.
No. But everybody is stressed. It's just a different level of stress.
Exactly. No, I really like that.
Even people who are like feeling pretty good about their life and they're on a good path and everything, and they just want to like tweak it, and this really wakes up your brain. And I think I might have told you this. This tradition comes from indigenous India, this particular meditation. And it came from the warrior class in indigenous India. So, warriors, we work out our bodies and we get into good physical shape so we can, fight. and be ready for battle. But in ancient India, they also used transcendental meditation for their brain, to wake up their brain, to fine tune their brain and be at peak brain performance, in addition to being at peak physical performance. So that's what it is. It's about waking up the brain. And even if you're not stressed in some way, it just makes your life better. It puts you in contact with that inner stability, the inner calmness that exists inside all of us.
Feeling grounded and in control of yourself.
Yeah. I've taught many people who are really successful in their life. You'd never believe that they were stressed. They're like maybe some famous actor or director or writer, somebody who's really successful, somebody head of a corporation. Their success is stressful. They have to manage their money and manage their life and manage this whole different level. And so TM helps with that. So it doesn't have to be, PTSD. It can be just stressful life, just needing to help manage your life.
It's a good practice to learn no matter what, it sounds like.
No matter what. Yeah. This helps you think more clearly, make better decisions, makes you feel better, gives you energy.
All right. Here's curveball. Is TM or meditation a religion?
Swing and a miss.
Right. I have certain people, I'm from the Bible Belt, and I know that it's always been like taboo, like, meditation. I'm not going to do that religion. I'm like, it's not religion. It's just something to assist in life.
Yeah. You answered the question. I get that question all the time. Well, I mean, not from everybody, but people who are really have their own religion and their own beliefs, they want to know. And so I've taught people from any religion you can name. I've taught them. And what I have found is in my own life and in people that I've taught that are religious, they find that it enhances their own religion. They understand it better. They understand what the religion is getting at, because you're going to the most settled place in your mind and just being in contact with that most expanded part of yourself. And it brings a whole lot of understanding to life outside of meditation. That this TM isn't about having an experience in meditation. It's not about having a spiritual experience or an awakening or solving a problem. It's just rest, physical rest for the body. The body reconfigures itself. It kind of starts working better while you give it rest. And then you come out of meditation and you're thinking more clearly. You have a broader view on things. It's sort of like taking blinders off. Little by little by little, you start seeing a bigger picture. And so you start becoming more appreciative of your own religion, and the word meditation, I mean, some people has a lot of there's a lot of kinds of meditation, and some are involved in prayer. And some people call prayer meditation,
Right.
And, but this is not, it predates religion. It predates Buddhism. It predates Hinduism. It's indigenous, so and some religions have incorporated TM into the religion, but TM in itself is not a religion.
And they likely did that because they saw the benefits of it.
The benefits, yeah. It helps them achieve their union with their God or their whatever their religion is about,
Right. If someone wanted to get started with Transcendental Meditation, where would you point them? I know that you do the David Lynch Foundation. If you could speak to your organization, and if those options aren't available, where would they go from there?
I would say go to two different websites. Go to davidlynchfoundation.org and go to tm.org. TM stands for Transcendental Meditation, tm.org. Transcendental Meditation, we have the David Lynch Foundation, we have three main offices, LA, DC, and New York. And so if you're not near one of those, and we specialize in teaching TM to the most highly stressed parts of our population. Vets are included in that. And during the pandemic, we were teaching doctors and nurses how to meditate to deal with the stress of, seeing people dying in front of them every day. And we're teaching in inner city schools. But that's our main focus. The Transcendental Meditation Centers, which there are many around the country, teach TM. You go in and you pay a course fee, and you can learn TM. And they have, you can learn on a slide. There's a sliding scale depending on your income. And some TM centers have scholarships available. But if a vet were to learn at a David Lynch Foundation center or office, and there's only 3 of them, like I said, you could get a full scholarship just being a vet. If you need one, if you can afford to pay, that's great. Pay the course fee. And then that's like paying it forward to other vets who can't afford it.
Right. And how much is that course fee?
Sliding scale starts at
Right.
960, and it's before I even go through the whole scale, it's a one-time payment.
Right.
It's good for life. Once you've paid it, any follow-up, anything in the future, any refreshers, any tune-ups, anything is all part of that. And so, for instance, we get people, I'll get a phone call sometimes, I learned TM 5 years ago, but I stopped doing it. I'd like to get started again. Sure, come on in. We'll get you started again. It's all included, like, for that.
Yep.
And so the sliding scale is 960, 860, 720, 760, I think, and then 520. And then students, I think, are there 440, I think.
Okay.
And so we don't ask for, like a tax form or something, a tax return. We just, whatever you can afford to pay. And you can pay in installments. You can pay in 4 installments.
Right.
So, I mean, somebody could actually learn like at 4 $105 payments. But different TM centers might have some scholarships available, not just for vets, but for anybody who can afford it.
Right. Awesome. I will add all the links that you mentioned. I'll add them to the show notes if anyone wants to go and reference those. Let's see. What's the process like getting involved, or like the start to finish? Like, hey, you go to the website, I want to do this class in New York. Like, is there a waiting period? Do you just wait for the next available class, pay an installment, and then show up? Like, how does that work?
We try to have classes very often, so there's not much of a wait.
Okay.
But here's how it goes. The first step is an introductory talk, and you can do that by Zoom. And it's just to hear about it, get your questions answered. What is TM? How does it work? What's involved in learning? And we can talk about that too in a minute. I'll tell you about the mantra and how that works. But so you meet a teacher and just go through it all, and then you say, all right, do I want to learn or not? After you can make a good decision whether you want to learn or not after you hear about it and get your questions answered. That's for me, that's not for me, whatever. So you decide you want to learn. You make an appointment with a teacher, a 1-hour appointment, 4 days in a row. Let's say you learn on a Monday. Monday is usually one-on-one. I mean, the first day of any instruction is one-on-one with a teacher. So if I were teaching 5 vets next Monday, I would make 5 1-hour appointments and teach everybody individually. And then the next day, you know how to meditate. Then after the first day, you know how to do it. Then you go home and you do it. And then everybody who learned those 5 vets that I taught on Monday individually come back as a class, COVID permitting. Otherwise, we'll make smaller classes. So 5 people come together as a class, and they say, I was meditating, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. We start answering questions now based on their experience meditating. All right, now go home and meditate 2 more times with this new information. Come back the next day, more information. Go home and meditate. Last day, more information, and you're all set. You've got it. You got all your questions answered. You've got how to handle any experience that comes up in meditation, what different experiences are during meditation. And so then you know how to do it. Then we recommend getting your meditation tuned up after that. So maybe 2 weeks after you learn, have a tune-up session, maybe by Zoom or in person, either way. And then, you've been meditating on your own for 2 weeks. So you have different experiences, different questions, the benefits start showing up. And then maybe once a month after that to get it tuned up until you don't feel the need for it anymore. But the reason for the tune-up is it's hard to stress how easy this meditation is, how effortless it is. There's no concentrating involved. There's no focusing involved. It's just free flowing. It's just the mind wants to go to this place deep inside, this quiet place. And so it's so easy that it's really easy to forget that you're doing it right. And you start, gee, am I actually meditating? And so questions come up, yeah, as long as you're doing this, you're doing it right. Well, this happened. Yeah, that's right. This is how this fits into the whole thing. So it's just to keep it tuned up. Because if you don't keep it tuned up, it's going to drop off after a while. Keeping it tuned up, wow, you look forward to doing it. And once you start doing it regularly, you start seeing the benefits more quickly.
Okay. Talking to the actual meditation itself and the mantra, what is one to expect when they do this type of meditation?
Okay. Yes. There's tons of kinds of meditations out there. Well, by tons, I mean, dozens.
Right.
Dozens of meditation, different types. And TM I'm not saying it's better than other meditations. I'm just saying it's different than other meditations. And the analogy I like to use is, when you're going to go work out. I mean, there's different kinds of workouts. You can do cardio, you can do muscle toning, you can do all kinds of different workouts,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not all the same. Then they have different results. TM is different than other meditations in that it gives the mind and the body a profound level of rest, 2 or 3 times deeper than sleep. But you're awake when you do it. You're sitting there with your eyes closed and you feel so relaxed. You can't believe how relaxed you are, more relaxed than you've ever been, but you're awake. You've got thoughts going on like you normally do. You're aware of your surroundings. It's not like a trance. You're not being hypnotized or anything. You're just giving your body physical rest. And when you give your body physical rest, it starts to heal. You give your body deep physical rest, it starts to heal deeply, the more traumatic stresses. So when you come to learn to meditate, you're given a mantra, and the mantra means sound. It's a Sanskrit word. Sanskrit is the indigenous language of India, and this meditation comes from ancient India. And so mantra means sound, and on top of that, it means a sound whose effects on your body are known. Because every sound we expose ourselves to has an effect on us, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. Things can, loud booms can trigger you. I mean, it's a vibration or drumming. Drumming is a sound that can do something to your nervous system, just sound.
Right.
I don't know what, like garbage truck outside my window. It's loud. That triggers me. So TM works on the basis of sound. So you're given a mantra, which is a word. And you think this word, sound, it's a sound. It doesn't have a meaning to it. It's a word, but there's no meaning. So it's just a sound, Mm-hmm. Like if I were to say to you, Evcharisto, that's a Greek word. You know what that means?
Not a clue.
Yeah. So it's just a sound to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything,
Yeah.
It means thank you. So now I say Evcharisto to you. Now your brain gets involved. Oh, it means thank you. I know how to say thank you in this language. And gratitude, that's a good thing. And your mind gets involved. But with TM, the mantras don't have a meaning. So your mind doesn't get engaged. It's just a sound that interacts with your mind, with your consciousness, to deactivate it. Let's let it settle, let it settle, let it settle. And because our mind and body are very closely connected, is when the mind starts becoming less active, the mind follows suit and becomes less active, and that's called rest. And whenever you give your body rest, it starts healing. So when you come to learn TM, you're given a sound, a word, and then the instructions on how to use it properly, how to use it effortlessly without focusing on it or concentrating on it.
So that's TM in a nutshell.
That's it.
I'm excited. I want to try this, and I am for sure.
Beautiful.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I was going to ask you, I know we mentioned it last time we talked about there's a Zoom thing, and a lot of my community is EOD because that's what I used to be. And there's going to be, with your all's foundation, a Zoom for EOD if you've received this training. And can you speak to that a little bit?
Right. If you've already learned TM, I'm not sure how it's going to work. We're going to try it out, but we're going to try to have a group meditation at least once, but maybe on a regular basis, for people who have learned TM to just tune in together on a Zoom and meditate together and answer questions that might have come up since you learned, and just fine tune it and give you some pointers.
That'd be awesome. I'll dig a little bit deeper into that. Once I get more information, I'll definitely send that.
Yeah, I don't have any more either. It's still in the process of being set up, so I don't have any more details yet, but I'm going to be leading it.
That's exciting. Hopefully by then I have my training, so I'm ready. Not certification, training, because I'm going to learn a skill.
Yep. And hopefully, if you don't have your training by then, hopefully people will like it enough to want to do it on a regular basis. Like, who knows, once a week, once a month, something like that.
Yeah. No, I think that'd be great. And I was going to touch on a couple of resources that you provided. Transcendence by Dr. Norman.
Rosenthal.
Rosenthal.
Dr. Rosenthal. Yeah, he's a psychiatrist.
And Strength and Stillness, The Power of Transcendental Meditation by Bob Roth. And just wanted to touch on anything else that you wanted to share about it before we wrap this up.
Just a little bit more of comparing TM to other meditations.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Most other meditations will fit into the category of either contemplating or concentrating. Focusing on your breath or focusing on a flame or guided imagery, that's using your active brain to accomplish something, and that's a good thing. Or some meditations are about chanting out loud, and that's a good thing, sound vibration like that. But TM is not about using the active mind, using the active senses to accomplish something. It's about deactivating the mind, giving the mind a chance to just experience its own stillness and the body to be very still and restful. And that's where the healing comes from. And if you can picture the ocean, the surface of the ocean, I'm a Navy guy, so I picture the ocean.
Right.
I don't want to go back out there, but I still can remember the surface of the ocean, waves, never stops. It's always moving. Surface of our mind, always moving. Thoughts. We live our whole life in the surface of our mind. But deep within, down at the bottom of the ocean, a mile down, it's just quiet down there. It's a different life, slow. And there could be a storm up here on the surface, but if you're way down there a mile deep, you don't even know there's a storm up there.
Right.
Compared to, it could be 50-foot waves. But compared to the depth of the ocean, those 50-foot waves are like nothing,
right.
Just little annoyances. So with the mind, is internally what TM is doing is not quieting the mind, but taking your attention from the active part to the quiet part that already exists. That's the difference. It just takes, you're not trying to still the mind. You're not trying to stop the waves on the ocean. You're taking your attention to where it's already quiet. And that's how TM works. And it uses a sound to do that, to get you from the active part to the silent part. That's the basic differences.
I like it. And also, I'm going to share the breathing technique that you provided too. And I like that.
That was developed for use in schools. And you'll see when you read it, it's sort of somebody leading a class of kids,
Right.
But it's perfectly fine for adults, and you can just use it anytime you want.
I'm basically just an adult child anyway. So
yeah, we all are.
Right.
I'm 76 years old. And so it surprises me when I look in the mirror, because there's a child in there. Inside every older person is this younger person wondering, what happened? Mm-hmm. It's like that. It's like we're all children at heart. We were all kids at one point. And we carry that with us.
I wouldn't have thought you were a day over 50. If this is what TM does, then I got to get on board now.
Yeah, stress. I'll tell you, stress wears your body out.
It does.
The buildup of stress, it wears it out, and tires your mind and makes you cranky and angry.
Makes everything else harder to do.
Everything, yeah, including your body functioning at its peak performance.
Well, Peter, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. I really appreciate this, and I hope we stay in contact. And yeah, if I don't know if I could ever help out in any way, please let me know.
Thank you. And if let me know when you're ready to make the jump and go to New York or DC. I will do everything I can to introduce you to the right people and get you started. And if any questions come up between now and then, just shoot me an email and we'll take care of it.
I will do, for sure. Thank you so much, sir. You have an awesome day.
Thank you, Jonathan. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.